Hey, what it do, Sports World, and welcome to the Real Untouchable Podcast with me, Ray Diggs. I got a great segment for you all, man. I want to talk about the NBA playoff, the second round. Man, this has been a crazy playoffs. As you all know, the game just ended. The Boston Celtics defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers 106 to 93. Okay, to take a 2-1 lead. We're going to talk about what happened last night with the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves, why I think Minnesota Timberwolves might have made one of the biggest mistakes you can make when you have the defending champions down 2-0. But before I get started, man, make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button. And make sure y'all give me your feedback on what you all think about this segment. Hey, let's talk about this thing, the NBA playoffs. So I want to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets last night in their game. The Minnesota Timberwolves was defeated in a game that I felt that they needed, but they didn't really have to have it. But why I think that they should have really put their foot on the defending champs next is because when you have the champions down, you need to go ahead on and finish them off. And that is something that I did not like what Anthony Edwards said. We came out, or I came out with, little to no energy. When you have the defending champions down, y'all, how do you come out at your hometown? This is the first game at your house that you come out with no energy. You cannot do this. Okay, if you want to dethrone the champs, you got to make sure that you pretty much dominate them when you have them down. And that is something that I didn't like. They came out there, they got beat, they got blew off their own floor by 27 points. The game was never close. And how I honestly feel like this. I feel like when I looked at this game last night, I honestly felt that the Minnesota Timberwolves, the referees pretty much dictated the game at the beginning. They kind of set the tone by letting the Minnesota Timberwolves know that they would not let them be physical. Okay, so when you come out there and they pretty much calling every single thing, you pretty much already know what type of game it's gonna be. When your best defensive players get 2 fouls early in the game, it's gonna most likely be a hard night because they're not gonna let you play how have you played in game 1 or game 2. And I think that's a lot to do with the NBA. I think the NBA pretty much called the referees, the referee association, and let them know that they did not want this game to be like game 2. How they had them on handcuffs. Okay, how they put Jamal Murray on handcuffs. Because you can kind of tell in game 3 that they would not allow them to touch Jamal Murray. And I honestly think that they dictated the game at the beginning. Now, is that the reason why they lost? No, it wasn't. Joker came alive. Jamal Murray played a hell of a game. And the rest of them guys, they just pretty much came along. And that's what this team right here needed to win one game. Once they won this one game, now they have the confidence that they can win the second game at home. I mean, in Minnesota hometown. Then you have Michael Porter with 21, Aaron Gordon 13, and then the one person that I said would probably have to step up with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He had 12 points. Okay, I know that might don't seem like a lot, but it's a lot when you need a player like him to step up. Being when you go down there and you look at the Timberwolves, you had Anthony Edwards. Yeah, he had 19, but it was a quiet 19. You really didn't. You didn't really feel his 19 points. Okay, like I honestly, at one point in the game, I didn't even think he was in the game because I'm just sitting here looking at the way the game was going, and it was like, okay, where's Ant? Why isn't he, taking this game over? But I think that, like he said, they came out with little to no energy. And then like I said, they missed 7 free throws. You go 10 of 33 from 3-pointer. That's a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for a loss. Okay, when you do things like that. And like I said, McDaniels had 10 points, Rudy Gobert had 6, and the one person that needed to step up was Karl-Anthony Towns, who has been stepping up. He had 14 points with a minus 32. Him and Ant-Man had a negative 32 while they was on the court. So that just tells you what type of game this was. All right. And then, like I said, when you go down the bench, they did little to nothing as well. So Mike Conley, 10 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, but you didn't feel it. Like I said, this game right here was pretty much dominated from the beginning. The Minnesota Timberwolves came out, like I said, it came out flat. Once they went down by 10, I think the game was pretty much over with. Once they came out in the third quarter with the Denver Nuggets, went on a big run in the third quarter. then the game was pretty much over with. And I think that the fourth quarter, they just pretty much rested. Now, this is the reason why I said at the beginning that they might have made one of the biggest mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes you can make when you got the defending champions down is come out with no energy at your home place, your hometown, your home stadium for the first game, which is game 3. You come out with little to no energy. Okay, like when you come out for that game 3, that should be the game where you come out and really put your foot on their necks. Then that's when you pretty much telling them, listen, we're better than y'all, and y'all about to go home. It might not be in game 4, it might not be game 4, but definitely game 5. We sending y'all to the house, and most likely we're gonna try to send y'all back to Denver without us coming back with y'all. You see, so when I looked at this game, I just think they missed out on a golden opportunity. Just like the New York Knicks. I think the New York Knicks missed out on a golden opportunity. And the reason I say they missed out on a golden opportunity, the New York Knicks as well, okay, is because they had the Indiana Pacers where they wanted them at. If they could have won this game, which I said this right here in a video earlier in the week, the longer this series goes on, the harder it's going to be for New York to win this series. Because when you go by there, and yes, I am shifting over to the New York Knicks game away from the Denver Nuggets game. I'm going to the New York Knicks, Indiana Pacers. The New York Knicks was defeated 111-106. And the reason why it's like they just couldn't really get going. But they still could have won the game. That's the crazy part. They still had a chance to win the game. Josh Hart only had 10 points, but he also had 18 rebounds. Okay. And they pretty much, he could not, use his intensity on the defensive side because he was always in foul trouble. And then, like I said, when you look at these players, Josh Hart last night played 43 minutes. Demachenko, 44 minutes. All right. Jalen Brunson and Hartenstein played 38 and 39 minutes respectively. So when you look at this, the longer this series goes on and they're playing over 40 minutes, this right here is favoring Indiana. Okay, they play again tomorrow. Why I think that Indiana should win this game tomorrow is because I got a feeling that the New York Knicks are fatigued. You can kind of tell by the winner in the fourth quarter that they were just missing shots that they would normally make. Okay, and that's what I think come from fatigue. When you look at Jalen Brunson, he was 10 for 26. I think that's what they need to do. They need to force him to play defense. And like I said, when you got Halliburton out here scoring, he had 35 points. That's what do that makes Jalen Brunson have to do on the other end. He have to play defense. So when Halliburton is not aggressive, that's when Jalen Brunson can get his rest on the other end, on the defensive end. And that's what I think he's been doing. Miles Turner finally stepped up after game 3, after game 2, where he only had 6 points and 8 points or whatever and 6 rebounds. He came out here last night and had 21 and 10. Okay, you had Siakam. I honestly feel like Siakam is going to have to be the one that actually win this series for them. And the reason why I say Siakam is going to have to be the one to win this series is because he's really the only one that can really get his own shot besides Halliburton. And I don't think Halliburton can really shoot that good. If you look at the stats, he was 14 or 26, but he was 6 for 16 from 3. He shot 16 3-pointers. Okay. And like I said, Nembhard really hit the biggest 3 of them all. When he hit that long 3, when the game was tied 106, and he hit that big 3, that's really what won the game for them. They put them up 109-106, and they pretty on went on to win 111-106. Okay, but when I look at this game, like I said, the Indiana Pacers have the New York Knicks where they want them. They're tired. They're going into game 4, and I expect Indiana to go out there tomorrow night and get a win in game 4 to tie this series and take this thing back to New York tied at 2-2. All right, we're going to move on to the Oklahoma City Thunder against the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks ended up squeaking out a good game today, 105-101. And like I said, it was PJ Washington again. Okay, I don't know why I said PJ Tucker. PJ Washington again that led the Dallas Mavericks. And he's really saving the Dallas Mavericks right now. With 27 points again. He pretty much was the only one, him and Luka Doncic at one point was the only 2 players in double figures, but then you already knew that Kyrie Irving would come alive. He would come alive at some point, and then he ended up having another, 22, another respectful game. But I think that Kyrie Irving is going to have to start picking it up a little early in the game. I don't think he's going to be able to do this late in the games, like just say like if they meet against a team like in the Western Conference Finals, the Denver Nuggets or the Minnesota Timberwolves, I don't think Kyrie Irving is gonna be able to like just pace himself and then just put it on against a team like that, because those teams there, they get big leads. You're playing against a very young team, a very inexperienced team. And I want to say this right here about the OKC Thunder. I don't think the OKC Thunder use their players like they should, like Chet Holmgren. Chet only had he was 5 for 9. He had 13 points and 8 rebounds. He also had 4 blocks. I think they need to give him more shots. That's just my opinion. I think he should have, if you got Joe coming off the bench with the same amount of shots as your starter, Chet Holmgren, and Joe is only playing 19 minutes while Chet Holmgren is playing 35 minutes, I think you need to give him more than 9 shots. Okay? And then Williams had a pretty respectful game, 16, 8, and 6. Josh Giddey. Now, y'all, correct me if I'm wrong, but I always looked at Josh Giddey as one of the best young players in the league. But as I continue to watch Josh Giddey, it seemed like this dude really cannot play, like he can't score like I thought he could. Like, or maybe like how he did last season. Josh Giddey has pretty much, became, I don't even know what he's doing out there. Like, he's not really playing good defense. And just think about it. He played 13 minutes tonight. Well, last night. 13 minutes. Oh, well, that was today. Yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah, today. He played 13 minutes. And you got your starting shooting guard playing 13 minutes, shooting 4 for 8, 1 for 4 from 3. Okay, he only had 9 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and that's pretty much it. So what I want to know is what the heck is going on with Josh Giddey, okay? And I'm starting to think that Josh Giddey don't want to be in OKC anymore. Like, that's just my opinion. He's only 21 years old, a young player. He came through the season, he was averaging 12 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists, shooting 47% from the field. And I'm looking at him now, and it's like you can't really recognize this dude. Like, what is it? It's because SGA has become the star. Like, what is going on with Josh Giddey? And also, I would also say, I think that they should look into getting Lou Dort more shots. Okay, Lou Dort is not like, you can give him more shots. Yes, SGA is your star, but I think SGA should start giving up some of them passes. Like, okay, you shoot 10 for 23. Okay, maybe you get 3 or 4 of those shots to Lou Dort or Chet Holmgren. Maybe this game is different. Maybe this game turns out different. But like I said, Luka Doncic pretty much 22 points, Kyrie 22 points, but it was PJ Washington again with 27 points. The last 2 games, this dude has put up 27 points per game. And like I said, and somebody said this tonight on Facebook, they were just saying like how when Luka Doncic gives the ball up, like this right here makes the Dallas Mavericks even more dangerous. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that, because when you dish the ball out and give it to other players, you give them an opportunity to get warmed up, to not be cold when Luka is dominating the ball. So that's why PJ Washington can shoot good. He can shoot threes good, but nobody really knew, because first of all he was in Charlotte. Down when he come to Dallas, he really much didn't get those shots. When he did it, sometimes they would give him those shots, but like I said, when you ain't shot the ball for an entire half, and then you want to give me the ball in the second half, and I'm out here missing, guess what? Most likely because I'm cold. And that's what I think they're starting to do now. They're starting to give him the ball more early in the games so to keep him warm. And that's why you're getting 27 points from him. And that's why the Dallas Mavericks is up in this series 2-1. Let's go over to the Boston Celtics. Like I said, the Boston Celtics defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight, 106-93. It was another big game by Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I called them out today. I said this earlier when I was talking to one of my homeboys. I said, listen, these are 2 $300 million players. It's no way that they should be out here playing the way they're playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers. I want to talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers first, but the Cavs came out here. Spider Mitchell pretty much had another, Spider Mitchell type of game, 33, 6-6. And they got 15 points off the bench from LeVert. That's something that they need if they want this series to extend. But when you get only 20 points, 15 came from one player from the bench, you're going to need your starters to do more. And if you have players like Max Strus, which was a big signing for the Cleveland Cavaliers in the offseason, have 6 points, I'm going to be honest, man. I'm really not a Max Strus fan. I think that this dude right here should not be a starting shooting guard in the NBA. I think he can be a really good bench player, like a substitution player, a bench player that come off the bench. I think he'll be a hell of a bench player. To come into the game, give some energy. But being a starter, I don't think the Cleveland Cavaliers is going to make it too far with him being their maybe fourth best player, which that's what he is right now, behind Spider Mitchell, Garland, and Evan Mobley. Which all three of those had really, really good games. But it was Max Strus again with 2 for 8, 2 for 6 from 3, pretty much 6 points, minus 14. Pretty much didn't do absolute nothing on the defensive side. So he didn't do nothing for this game. Basically just showed up and shot and missed shots. That's all he did. Evan Mobley, like I said, 17 points. Maybe they need to start giving him more shots. He was 7 for 11. All right, 17 points. Like, you got Darius Garland going 6 for 15. Maybe if you give some of those 6 or 15 shots to Evan Mobley, maybe you all can be closer in this series. Maybe you all can be closer in this game. Like, I don't understand these teams. You see you got a mismatch, which you do. Evan Mobley is definitely a mismatch going up against Hartford. Why not give him the ball? Let him export that mismatch. Okay. But like I said again, it was the Boston Celtics again. It was Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And then you also got 18, 8, and 5 from Jrue Holiday. So that's pretty much all they really needed to get this win. Like I said, Jason Tatum, 33 points, Jaylen Brown, 28 points, and Jrue Holiday with 18. You also had White. Derek White came out there. It's not one of his better games. He was 4 for 13, 3 for 8 from 3, but he also had 12 points. But he had a good game for the most part, and they didn't really need him. Like I said, this series right here is pretty much over with. I did not expect the Cavs to put up this much of a fight. I expected for the Boston Celtics to dominate them, but I do think that Boston will win game 4, and they will go back to Boston and finish this series and win the series 4-1 in 5 games. Like I said that Boston will win this series in 4 or 5 games. I was looking for a sweep, but I expect for this series to be over with in 5 games right now, 4-1 as it's standing right now. But hey, thank y'all again for listening to another great segment of the Real Untouchable Podcast with me, Ray Diggs. And hey, make sure y'all give me your feedback on what you all think about this segment. And also make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the share button. Hey, it's cost 0 cents to go and like the YouTube channel. So make sure y'all go do that. Until next time, y'all have a great weekend. Make sure y'all happy Mother's Day to all the amazing mothers out there. Thank you all. Peace.